Hi everyone, welcome to Art Journeyman. My name is Sage, and I wanted to show you some of my drawings that are that are the result of my meditation practice, my drawing-based meditation practice. And these are just some of the sample products, or end products rather. And as you can see, they look to be pretty chaotic and directionless, you can describe them as. As you can see, I used two different colors of pen simply to save paper. I basically draw on the fronts and the backs of each individual sheet, and I can save paper by layering one session over another with different colored pens, but it also kind of gives it an interesting effect as well. Having said that, these drawings are not really intended to be artwork or in any way kind of like a finished piece of work, although I like finished work that looks like this. I'm more interested personally in, I guess, what you can categorize as abstract art. But once again, this is more of a document or a recording of the process behind it, which is, again, the meditation technique. And I call it Draw a Line, Change Your Life. The final product itself, this image right here, is interesting though in and of itself. This is a document of how your intuition, I guess, functions. Because this is a physical representation of your intuitive process, there's a kind of immediacy to how your intuition gives you those nudges that it does. And that immediacy kind of, for me at least, is equivalent to a kind of energy. Maybe if you want to say like an internal energy, a human energy, maybe even spiritual. It's somewhat mysterious. I like to say, and when I look at these drawings, I feel something. You know, if for example, I came to them, it's hard to be able to do this, but if I would come to them with a fresh slate in terms of just kind of looking at them as lines on a page, I can see a certain energy that is communicated in the lines, and I draw these lines for the most part. Some of them I vary the speed in terms of how fast I draw the lines. Some of them are slower and some of them are faster. But just kind of like not considering even the speed of the line, let's say that this one looks like one of the times that I was going at my usual pace, which is kind of a slower pace. So maybe along these lines, if you can imagine me drawing with a pen right now, this is about how fast I go. And so you can say that relatively that's not very fast. There still is an energy to the final product. And I argue that that energy is because, once again, your intuitive process is one that is full of energy as well in its own way. It has a power to it. And I think that that special quality comes across on the page when you finish your session. Now, before I go too far into this, I'd like to demonstrate the technique itself. And why don't we just get a blank sheet here, and I'll just run through it real quick. Here we have us starting in a random direction. And I'm closing my eyes and I'm just staying with the line as I draw. And you notice that I am changing directions. And what I'm doing in the moment is essentially just staying with the line, breathing, and imagining the pen tip generating the line as I draw the line. And what that does is simply by just staying in the present moment, I am allowing my system to make that next move. And here we have the four cardinal directions, which is north, east, west, south. Let me just draw that right here. North, east, west, south, and all of the diagonals. So you have 8 directions that you can move in. And your mind and your intuition knows this. So when you are working by simply being in the moment and staying with the line, imagining it being drawn as I draw it physically in real time. And also as I come to the edges of my workspace or my paper, a new direction will emerge. And for some people, it may be a little video clip in your head, or it may just be that new angle that emerges. And for me, it's that little segment of an angle that shows up. So once again, looking at the final product here, random example, we have a directionless, chaotic looking drawing essentially. And my argument is that this finished drawing is chaotic, but the act of making it is very focused. And so there's a kind of paradox or a contradiction, which is interesting. Now, what makes the process focused? Well, this is just my argument and it's subjective, so you may think differently, but I like to think of the act or the state of being in the present moment or striving to be in the present moment is a very focused action, as is being patient, both with the process and yourself, having trust and acceptance also of yourself in the process. All of these activities are very focused ones. So just talking about being in the present moment, which kind of is the main idea behind this kind of focused practice, or this focused aspect of the practice. Being present is also about moving forward, because when you are fully, or as much as you're able to be in the present moment, you're naturally moving forward. So once again, the paradox is in this chaotic looking final product of a drawing. You can call it a drawing or whatever you want to call it. It could be just a document or a record of your procedure or process. It's chaotic looking. It's directionless looking, but once again, created, I am arguing, by a focused process. And I like, as you've probably, if you've watched my last 4 to 5 videos, you'll know that I enjoy making analogies to personal experiences. Life is never a straight line, and I know that is a cliche, but I think it's very true, and it applies to my technique. As we live our lives, new directions emerge. We commit to one, and our intuition can nudge us in another direction. The question is do we take it? I think this practice compresses the life experience, or this kind of life experience. In other words, be fully present with the direction that you're currently in. You don't necessarily need to know where the line will go. Allow your intuition to nudge you in the right direction. If you end up going in a very different direction that you initially thought of, again, that's a good thing. You can look at it as a good thing. And again, just if you focus on being in the present moment, it kind of simplifies life very much. I think for most of us, though, we are going in a certain direction and we have this goal on the horizon. It may be far away or it may not be far away. That's sort of the illusory quality of one's goals. And when we do reach that goal, inevitably more goals start showing up. There are examples, as I mentioned before, of you kind of taking a totally different direction and moving away from your original goal, which is fine, which is great. And equally fine and great is kind of moving along one direction and maybe changing a little bit, but still sort of moving toward your original destination. And again, it's just a matter of not being or not needing to know where you're going. If you have a general direction, that's all you need. And if you are totally open and are willing to follow your intuition, you can move in a completely different direction. And I think that there are, even though it might seemingly be a completely different direction, there are so many things that we carry with us moving forward that kind of keep us on a certain path with a certain trajectory. Being in the present moment is not easy. It is a combination of being focused and relaxed at the same time. The act in and of itself of moving toward it, trying, attempting, and working on it is a great thing. So just a few thoughts for you. If you have any questions or would just like to speak to me about my line drawing meditation technique, please go ahead and send me a message through my homepage on my website, which I will provide a link below. I'll also provide a few other links in terms of some of the tutorials that I have. I have a little first episode of a course that I put on my website as well. I have a lot of other videos that go over my line drawing meditation technique, and I'll just put the ones that are relevant if you are interested in terms of sort of starting fresh and having that introductory sort of tutorial for you. Again, in the description below, I'll have those links below. So I really value our time together, and I appreciate those of you out there who have been watching. I look forward to our next video. Take care till then.